Imagine two Australians standing in the rain. The first bloke is holding a massive bucket. It is huge. He earns good money as solid salary, maybe even overtime, but his bucket has 100 holes in the bottom. The pay hits his account on Thursday. By Saturday, it is already draining. Afterpay, Uber Eats, tap and go at the servo. A subscription he forgot about. Another one he uses twice a month. Another he has not used since 2024. The rain pours in. The money pours out just as fast. At the end of the fortnight, the bucket is empty. He is exhausted, stressed, and wondering where it all went. The second person is holding a small cup. She earns less. Her salary is nothing special. But her cup has no holes. Not a single one. She catches every drop deliberately. And once the cup is full, she pours it into a savings account. Then an ETF. Then another. At the end of the year, the bloke with a massive bucket is stressing about rent. The woman with a small cup is building real wealth. That is the financial reality for millions of Australians right now. We are obsessed with income. We think the solution is earn more, get a raise, pick up a side hustle. But earning more money when you have a leaking bucket does not make you richer. It just speeds up the flow of waste. And Australia has built one of the most sophisticated money-leaking machines on the planet. Around 95% of all in-person transactions in Australia are now contactless. You tap your phone. You tap your watch. You tap your card. You never see the money leave your hand. You never feel the loss. Australia, alongside New Zealand, leads the entire Asia-Pacific region in Buy Now Pay Later use accounting for 13% of all e-commerce transaction value in 2025. 1 in 3 Australians is using BNPL regularly. That is not a payment method. That is a psychological trap dressed up as convenience. Global thin info Braidwood Times corporations have spent billions designing frictionless spending. Every one-tap checkout, every saved card detail, every Afterpay installment that feels like nothing. It is all designed to make you spend without thinking. And it is working spectacularly. So today, we are going to talk about a 120-year-old Japanese system that does the exact opposite. It is called Kakeibo, pronounced Kah-keh-boh. It means household financial ledger. And it is the reason Japanese households consistently save between 20 and 35% of a modest income, while many Australians on far higher salaries are living fortnight to fortnight. This is the art of Kakeibo applied to the Australian tap and go economy. The invisible money problem. Here is why most Australians have no idea where their money goes. Money has become invisible. When you pay with cash, your brain registers something psychologists call the pain of paying. You physically hand over notes. You watch the stack get smaller. You feel the loss. That feeling is actually protective. It makes you think twice. When you tap your card or phone, that pain disappears entirely. The transaction takes half a second. There is no friction, no feeling, nothing, just a small beep, and you walk away. Cash use for food retail, including dining out and takeaway meals, has fallen more sharply than any other category in Australia over the past 2 decades, driven precisely by the rise of contactless card payments. Coin Codex, and then the end of the fortnight hits. You open your banking app, you stare at the number, and you cannot figure out how it got that low. The money did not disappear. It escaped. Quietly, repeatedly, one tap at a time. Kakeibo is the act of making the invisible visible again. Not with an app, not with an algorithm, with a pen and a notebook. Studies show that people who manually track their expenses save 20 to 35% more than those who use automated tools. Not because they earn more, because awareness changes behavior. Can-star the 4 questions that change everything. At the start of every month, you sit down with your notebook and answer 4 questions. That is the entire system. How much money do I have available this month? How much do I want to save? How much do I need to spend on fixed essentials? How can I improve on last month? Most Australians do this backwards. They spend first. They pay their bills, their Afterpay installments, their subscriptions, their dining out, their Uber Eats. And then they save whatever is left, which is usually nothing. Kakeibo flips the equation entirely. Income minus savings equals spending money. You pull the savings out first, before the rent, before anything, and then you live on what remains. CanStar, if you earn $4,500 a month and you commit to saving $600, you now have $3,900 to work with. That is your reality for the month. Not the $4,500, the $3,900. That artificial scarcity is not a punishment, it is a tool. When you have less available, you make smarter decisions. You prioritize. You stop spending mindlessly because you can see the boundary. The 4 buckets. In Kakeibo, every dollar you spend goes into one of 4 categories. This is not complicated. That is the point. Survival. Your non-negotiables. Rent or mortgage. Groceries, utilities, transport, medication. These are the things you cannot cut to zero, but you can always optimize. Do you need 2 streaming services? Is there a cheaper phone plan? Are you buying the branded version when the home brand does the same job? Optional. Your wants: dining out, drinks with mates, shopping, Afterpay purchases, subscriptions you use occasionally. This is where the bucket leaks. This is where the battle is won or lost. Culture. Your growth spending. Books, courses, gym memberships, events, anything that makes you smarter, healthier, or more skilled. Kakeibo actively encourages this category. Spending money to grow yourself is not waste. It is investment. But it still needs to be tracked. Unexpected, the things that sneak up on you. Car repairs, dental bills, a birthday you forgot, a registration renewal. These are not surprises if you plan for them. Kakeibo trains you to expect the unexpected by setting aside a small amount every month for this category. Every evening, not every week. Every evening you sit down for 3 minutes with your receipts and your notebook. You write each expense into its bucket. You see the numbers accumulating in real time. That daily ritual is what makes Kakeibo work. It turns spending from an automatic habit into a conscious choice. The envelope method for Australians. For the optional bucket you'll want spending, Kakeibo traditionally uses cash envelopes. You withdraw the exact amount budgeted for fun at the start of the month. You put it in an envelope. When it is gone. Now, most Australians have not withdrawn cash for everyday spending in years. Cash use has stabilised at historically low levels in Australia, with the government mandating from January 2026 that grocery stores and petrol stations must accept cash, a move specifically designed to protect Australians who rely on it. Coin Codex, but the envelope principle works digitally too. Open a separate transaction account with no card linked to Apple Pay or Google Pay. Transfer your monthly wants budget into that account on the 1st of the month. That is your fun money. When it hits zero, the fun stops. There is no overdraft, no Afterpay to fall back on. The limit is absolute, and it is real. The friction you create manually is what protects you from spending without thinking. The 30-day wish list. This one is simple and genuinely powerful. When you see something you want to buy that is not a survival need, a new pair of Nikes, a gadget, a piece of furniture, a piece of clothing, do not buy it. Write it in a wish list section of your notebook. Write the date. Write the price. Then wait 30 days. After 30 days, look at the list. Ask yourself honestly, do I still want this? Or was I bored, stressed, scrolling Instagram and emotionally shopping? Around 90% of the time, the urge will be gone entirely. You will look at that item and genuinely wonder why it felt so urgent. You just saved the money by doing nothing. CanStar, if you still want it after 30 days with the same intensity, buy it. That is a deliberate purchase made with intention. Not an impulse. Not an algorithm triggering a dopamine hit at 11 p.m. on a Sunday night. The monthly review. At the end of every month, you do not just close the notebook. You sit with it for 15 minutes and ask hard questions. Where did I go over budget? Why? Was I stressed, tired, bored? What was I feeling when I made those optional purchases? This is not about punishing yourself. It is data collection. You are becoming a scientist studying your own behavior. And over time, you start to see patterns. Maybe you overspend on food delivery every time work gets overwhelming. Now, you have a trigger identified. Next month, when work gets overwhelming, you have a plan that is not Uber Eats. Kakeibo requires this monthly check in compare actual spending with your plan. Analyze the gaps, celebrate your wins, and adjust for next month. You get smarter every single month. The leaks get smaller. The bucket gets tighter. Overdraft Me Wealth is a gap, not a number. Here is the thing that most Australians never fully understand. Wealth is not about how much you earn. It is about the gap between what you earn and what you spend. A person earning $120,000 and spending $120,000 has zero wealth. They are one redundancy away from serious trouble. A person earning $70,000 and spending $52,000 is saving $18,000 a year. They have freedom. They own their time in a way the higher earner does not. Kakeibo devotees report saving up to 35% of their monthly expenses using this system, not because they became rich overnight, but because they stopped the bleeding. They patched the holes. They made the invisible money visible. ASIC every dollar you save is not money you are losing access to. It is freedom you are buying. It is a future day where you do not have to go to work unless you choose to. That is what the notebook is actually building. Here is your challenge for this week. Not a month. Just 7 days. Do not just check your banking app. Every time you spend money at the servo, at Woolies, at the cafe, on Uber Eats, anywhere, write it down. Your phone notes, a piece of paper, a proper notebook. Write the amount and what it was. At the end of 7 days, add up everything in the optional category. The wants, the nice-to-haves, the discretionary spending. You will be shocked at the number. Most Australians are. That shock is the beginning. Awareness is the first and most important step toward change. And a pen and a notebook might be the most powerful financial tool you have never used. Subscribe to Money Mate Australia for more honest money breakdowns built for everyday Australians. And comment below with your biggest guilty pleasure expense, the one small thing that drains your wallet every fortnight. We want to know. And we guarantee the answers are going to be very Australian.